What's up, everybody? To another edition of Late Night on Base. I am your friend, your host, a man who needs a haircut, Bill the Bull, back at it today, where we talk all things AI, we talk things apps, tech, and of course, on chain. I really need a haircut. Oh my God. Bear market vibes, bro. Bear market vibes. I just kind of let myself don't get that fresh cut as much as I'd like, but it's okay. We will get a haircut soon, but more importantly, it's important to start streams and to be consistent and chat Monday through Thursday, noon PST to about like one. I call the show late night on base, but theoretically, I mean it's late night somewhere. But for where I'm at, it's literally midday. So I should name it like afternoon with Bill or something, but I've been doing this too long to change. So you're stuck with me. So, anyways, guys, welcome to the show. I hope you guys are doing well. We got a lot to talk about. We got, a lot of interesting things today. I tweeted about it. We're going to talk about this water app that is doing 105K a month. Let me repeat, there is a water app, a freaking water app that is doing $105,000 a month. Probably Vibe coded for all I know. How is that possible? We're going to talk about it. Seriously, so crazy. And then we're also going to have Tim Aslan on. We're going to talk about how the markets look. Obviously, we had Trump, ceasefire with Iran. I guess that's good. Well, of course that's good. War is not good. But what does it mean for the markets? He's an expert. So we're going to talk about that. But on this show, we put the spotlight on builders. We put the spotlight on people doing cool shit with AI, with consumer apps, really focusing on consumer apps too. I don't think anyone's really talking about it. So you come to the show, you learn what people are doing. How are they making this kind of revenue? I mean, seriously, dude, $105,000 a month for a water tracking app, 8 screens and a soft paywall, 80% off if you close it. That's it. So it's not like a earth-shattering concept. But the proof's in the pudding, this kind of number. So we're going to talk about that. Tim's going to be on in a little bit. But, and you guys, hey, listen, this is a very interactive show, too. I've been doing this for a long time. I always like comments. So if you guys want to comment something in, please do. We would love to talk. Man, it's kind of crazy. So for those that don't realize, media is kind of the new distribution, right? And I've put this thesis out there, and it wasn't until honestly TPPN kind of showed what's possible. If you're building in this space, at the end of the day, distribution is all that matters. You can build the best thing ever, but you need to be able to get the word out there, and that's going to be the name of the game and the challenge for everyone in this space. So if you're building something, you need to focus on that aspect. Marketing is important because now you're going to be inundated. If you're a potential user, you're going to be inundated with so much options. You're going to go for the one you're familiar with or the one you heard of. So how do people get distribution? That is what we're going to try to find out. And on this show, we give distribution to builders if you're building something cool. Now, if you're building something that's kind of whack, I mean, honestly, I won't have you on the show. But if you're interesting and you're building something and you're doing something novel, let's talk. Actually, one of the builders that I do have a lot of respect for on a different note is Levy. Levy.eth. Pretty crazy how many of the most iconic builders, athletes, and creatives in history were told that their brain didn't work right. We got inspired by the idea from Alex Karp of Palantir. Built a whole series around it called Neurodivergent. The goal behind the series is to show the traits society tried to medicate, suppress, or fix, or the exact trait that made these people impossible to ignore. Now, why do I bring up Mr. Levy? Because he utilized an AI tool. He utilized AI and the tools out there, and he's created a fully AI podcast that, as he said here, vibe coded the Epstein Files podcast with Claude in a weekend, and he just crossed 100,000 downloads in its first week. Think about that. Think about what that is. A man took the tools with AI, vibe coded in a weekend, took all the Epstein files, which is 100,000 plus documents, put it together in some sort of tool that Claude Code created, spits out all the relevant data, created scripts, and it hit 100,000 downloads in its first week. That's wild. This is kind of why AI is really reshaping it. That's why this is the best time to be a builder ever. Tools that, like, this is not possible 2 years ago. It's just strictly isn't. 2 years ago, you're not doing this. You're not being able to analyze 100,000 plus documents and come up with scripts and come up with, proper formatting and, generated hosts and just so much stuff. Here now you've created a system where you can just feed documents, put it in, and it gets you all the relevant data. So on this show, we highlight cool stuff people are building, and that's one of them. And Adam, if you're listening, which you probably aren't, but if you are, come on the show. I want to find out. And if you're building some cool stuff like that, maybe it's something different. I want to hear about it. And the guests and the audience need to hear about it, because I personally feel success stories like this open up the eyes and the imagination of many people. Think about it. If you're in the normal world, the normie world, most thing you know about AI is ChatGPT. You can talk to it. But they don't really understand that the next wave is AI agents, Claude Code, things doing it, building for you, the systems in place. So I think there's an opportunity here for really cool builders to build some dope shit and talk about it with me, I must say. But anyways, I digress. Let me see real quick if we're going to get Tim on. So technically, oh, yes. Yeah, so technically these things are very much aligned with, and I want to know kind of your thoughts too, because every day we're going to go through different apps too. So this is a water tracking app, 105K a month. Now, when you have that, there's a lot of steps involved, right? Obviously, you can create the coolest app ever. And it starts with, I think let's kind of dive in. Let's actually talk about this one. Hold on. Let's actually go to it, because I want to kind of look at it. And by the way, shout out to this guy, Jake Embroidery. I followed him, co-founder of AppKitty. He's not paying me to say this. Find winning apps, replicate what's working, tweets about growth and my learnings. I find it very interesting what he's learning, what he's teaching, because again, it is why reinvent the wheel? Just do what people are doing and just do it better. That is pretty cool. Like, look, me, when I realized I only need 500 users paying 20 a month to make 100,000 a month. That's pretty crazy, man. It is pretty crazy. I think you're going to see just, and the biggest winner of all this new AI ease of use of being an app developer is Apple. They're taking 30% of literally all the sales. So GG to Mr. Cook and team. But I just love the ability that the average person can now create what they want, and it's on a level playing field. I think that is so freaking cool. I think that is just such a, what do I want to say? That is such a refreshing thing, because we're now in a world where it used to be you had to know somebody, you had to have a team, you had to be funded. The playing field wasn't even. It was either you were in the game or you weren't. Kind of goes to what crypto is all about. The core thesis back in the day is opportunity for all. Well, hey, AI has now created opportunity for all, and now you have people building things that were damn near impossible. So to put it in perspective, 500 users at 20 a month, it is 100,000 a month. But again, the hard part is no longer the execution of the idea. It is go to market. How do we go to market? That is the $1 million question. So, he puts up another one that I think is interesting. This heart rate monitor app is making 420,000 a month, and their winning ads are very easy to replicate. Use Nano Banana 2 to create the images. Use Kling or Veo 3.1 to animate them. Target older audiences, high-income users. Here's their winning ad they're running right now. That is pretty insane. So I think, there's now tools. If you have an agent, you can actually utilize your agent to do research, and the agent can then hire sub agents, and then you can kind of go onto TikTok and do analyzation of the current trends in your niche, who to target if you're targeting individuals to work on your behalf, kind of the keywords, kind of the styles that are working. It's just really fascinating that people are using this data to create what they want. So for here, this is a winning ad they're running. I don't know if it's on TikTok. I don't know where they're putting it, but they figured out a way where you can use AI to create the images, and they are making $420,000 a month. I think I'm in the wrong business, guys. I think I'm in the wrong business. It's pretty crazy. Never been a better time to be a gaming dev. Never been a better time to be a gaming dev. All right, so let's see. Also wanted to just point this out. We're going to have Tim on in about 20 minutes. Austin Gorgas. Everyone will figure out how to use AI tools. Correct. What they're missing is distribution and an audience. It will always come back to that. 100% agree. And I bring that up because if you are a builder, start thinking about that. Start thinking about distribution. That's the name of the game. AI is not coming for that. AI is not going to magically put your project or your product into the hands of people. The real winners are those that create the distribution platform and the ones that understand distribution's king. So even if you're a builder and you don't have maybe an audience or a brand, you can figure out how to tap into others with an audience or a brand, or create that audience or brand through social media. That is something that I really have learned. And another thing I've learned too, also shout out now on base side of things, introducing Base Batches Cohort 003, another top news of this. The top 12 out of 1,100 teams have been chosen, building across AI, DeFi, payments, and prediction markets for 7 weeks. Culminates in Demo Day, San Fran, to pitch to top investors. Meet the cohort, read more about our selection process. So shout out to those base batches. Hold on a second. All right. So shout out to those that are in the base batches. One thing I like about base is they give opportunities out of all chains to really showcase builders. And again, this show is distribution for builders. You don't have to be an app maker. You don't have to be in crypto. Just build something. And base understands that. And they're the same way. They're not necessarily focused on you putting a token out there. In fact, many of the top projects don't. So one of the things that they do is they take the support that they give to builders. The most serious amount of support I feel is on base, over Solana, over Polygon, over Solana, Arbitrum. Base is basically creating a culture of like the top builders. So shout out to those that were selected. I look forward to speaking to most of you. I want to get to know who you are, what you're building, and why it matters to the people listening in. If you're building something, you need to have a why, and you need to have a reason to do it. And what are you doing that's going to make the random individuals' lives better? That is my question for each and every person who comes on my show. So I look forward to getting to know them. All right, so let's see. Yesterday, might as well just kind of go over some other news. Shout out to Moon Poppy and Liquid. They just created a new launchpad using on Rainbow. Actually, it's called Liquid. So shout out to them. And Proxy is a really good guy. He was on the show before. I look forward to having him on. Moon Poppy is also a really good guy. I've had him on the show. Look forward to having him on. I look forward to seeing what they continue to do. But yes, this is some other news that I want to share with you guys. And again, it goes down to where we are going in the world, in the society, the direction that we're going, which is marketing, which is having an audience. Very applicable. It doesn't matter if you have a media platform. You have to have an audience. If you are a builder, you have to create the audience. I just stress that. You figure it out. before you start this. Everyone has the access to these tools. They don't have access to distribution. So check this out. I've learned more, by the way, about SaaS, media, marketing in the last week than I have in like 7 years. I've been doing this podcast and stream. Actually, I've been doing the podcast Late Night on Base since 2024. Strictly just kind of like a podcast. Really wasn't a business. Very vibes. I would mess around a lot with meme projects. All sorts of projects would come on. And then end of 2024-ish, maybe fall. I don't know. Around that time, I started live streaming before anyone was really live streaming on Base. And that was really fun. Then exploded with the rise of Zora. That was a good time. But at that time, I wasn't really thinking about the media platform either. More vibes based. And I realized last week just the extent of what's possible in this new world. If you focus on a traditional real value business and not just cater to degens, check this out. Everyone talks about TPPN making $20 million in ads. But no one talks about how Acquired FM is pricing their mid-roll at $4.7 million. First of all, I didn't even know what the fuck Acquired FM was, to be honest with you. I had no idea. Nothing against them. Literally had no clue what they were. No idea. And so I clicked on it, and it is a podcast by two dudes. And their whole premise is every company has a story. Learn the playbooks that built the world's greatest companies and how you can apply them. So it's a really cool topic. And they charge $4.5 million or so for their partnership deals. Can you believe that? And not only that, they charge it in years in advance. People are buying it. So their spring 2026 season, they only do 4 episodes. They do spring and fall. So 8 episodes a year. They're all sold out. 2027 season, only 8 episodes. They are already sold out. They are now securing guests for the spring 2028 season. That's 2 years from now. Mid-roll. $2.9 million still available. Presenting sold out. I don't know what the cost is for presenting. Well, maybe I do now. Seems like presenting is even more than mid-roll. Holy shit. Mid-roll. $3.5 million for fall 2028 season. And they do multiple mid-roll packages, it seems like. Now look at this. Spring 2029, fall 2029. 3 years from now. You can be the sponsor for presenting for $5.6 million, mid-roll $4.1 million, and on fall 2029, $6.5 million and $4.7 million. Wow. That is just blew my mind. That just shows how much value if you are able to target the right audience. And SaaS companies care about less about the number of viewers, but the type of viewers that you have. So for instance, call her daddy or something. Very much girly talk, whatever. Millions of subscribers, whatever. They probably won't get the same amount of offers like this than a very targeted niche market, because the platforms with money, the SaaS companies, they want SaaS users. So you need to go where the smart listeners are. And if you create, I guess, some sort of media company that interests this smart group, they will be willing to pay you more. And that to me is just remarkable. Acquired FM, GG's. It's a really interesting concept. I kind of just looked at their website, and they talk a lot about, like, they interview like Warren Buffett. They interview the people of Costco, big Charlie Munger. So in a way, you're getting access as a listener to like most elite of the elite people. And so it's kind of reminds me of like Diary of the CEO and that guy who, he created his brand and he talks to the elite people. So companies would be willing to pay a premium to be sponsors on that show because they know the people that watch those shows are the type that will use their products. So very interesting to see that. Different mindset, man. It's a different mindset that I never really even knew about, to be honest with you. I've just been focusing on crypto degens, and that only gets you so far, but it's really inspiring, man. It really is inspiring to see that. I was very, very shocked in a good way. I was very, very shocked. So yeah, I I love seeing that, man. I love seeing that. And so that's just a matter of like, man, it shows what's possible. Building something like that. I think I read somewhere too. It wasn't even their full-time gig for a long time. I think they didn't take it seriously until 2023. But it shows no matter what you decide to build, whether it's an AI, apps, tech, or something on chain, you got to give it truly your all. Shout out to the 336 people live with me. Tim will be on in about 8 minutes talking TA. We're going to talk charts, and then we'll wrap it up. So, yeah, that was very interesting to me. Let's see what else was happening in the land of tech, crypto, AI. I thought this was interesting too. LinkedIn is now a video platform, and it's quite underrated. I had no idea LinkedIn was anything. First of all, LinkedIn. So I'm trying now my arc is to really target, obviously crypto people love it, but I really want to target the SaaS audience, SaaS companies, because show your boy the money, bro. Show your boy the money. Show me the money. I will give you a show that Silicon Valley wants to have, and my show eventually will get there. Got to manifest it. Anyways, so with this new arc of mine, where it's really targeting more than just crypto people, non-cryptos, LinkedIn I've discovered is a place I got to be. LinkedIn is like a foreign science to me. Like, I don't even know. Is it like supposed to be like Twitter, but more professional? Like, what do you post on there? Is it just a place where a bunch of people talk about their accolades? That sounds boring. I really don't know. Is it a place where people just post things and sound smart? I don't know, maybe. But I view it as a networking opportunity. So I'm trying to take it serious. And supposedly it's a video platform. Literally a video platform. I do not know what it is. But if someone does know, please let me know. Please let me know. Because I do want to take LinkedIn serious. Because that's where the people I want to be are on. So we'll see. We will see. Got to confirm with my quants, Real Matt Bond. Definitely want to have him on the show. So I look forward to having him. All right, a couple more things before we go. Nico came up with a very interesting thing. I think he's head of marketing of Uniswap, or he might be the dev of Uniswap, or not the dev. He's not Hayden. He's someone at Uniswap, and he made a good point here. I think crypto marketing is going to change quite a bit soon. Interning is dead. Shitposting gets old fast. When the market is in turbo sending, believe there will be a major shift towards substance and narrative building. Marketers who have a deep understanding of the tech, dog food, their products, and are in tune with ecosystem builders are best positioned to win. Yeah, I mean, listen, when number goes up, shitposting is hilarious. Keeps the vibes right. Everyone loves it. A la 2021, that was like peak shitposting times. And then on the last cycles, when numbers going up, people love it. But there's nothing more cringe and nothing worse than number going down and then people trying hard to be funny and cool. It is cringe. Absolutely cringe. So I think the eras of shitposting are going to be done. And I think we're no longer in crypto is much more mature class. I think there'll still be pockets that do well, of course. But I think the era of like the 2021 vibes, 2020 vibes are gone. I don't think they'll come back. Doesn't mean things can't do well, but I think people are a lot more jaded now. I think the extraction has really gotten to people, rightfully so. So I think you need to do more than just shitpost. You need to provide value. You need to provide substance. And I think these media companies are kind of paving the way. But you also don't want to be too stiff, you could say. I don't think you want to be too stiff because you're going to alienate a huge audience. If you're stiff and you're boring, it's going to be hard to attract crypto Twitter influence. You got to have both. I think Thread Guy does a really good job of that. Shout out to Thread Guy. I'm basically his unk. I'm much older than him, but I respect him a lot because, first of all, he's good at what he does, but he's able to relate to the younger people, he is a young guy, but he's still able to have some professionalism to kind of relate to the older people, the Peter Schiffs of the world and older people. And so I know he's going to be a huge success, but that being said, he still has crypto culture. So I do agree with what Nico's saying, but you can't just be super lame and super boring with no personality. You're not going to get far. people will still think you're cringe. So there's a balance. There is a balance, but I absolutely agree with the sentiment that marketers who have a deep understanding of the tech are going to do well. Shit posters, probably not. So yeah, things to look at. All right. Before Tim's going to come on to, let's see if there's anything else in consumer apps. AI agents have been on a tear, by the way. Shout out to, next week I have two really up and coming projects coming on. So I look forward to having them. Look forward to having Banker at some time. I think Banker to me is, if you're bullish on Base, you're bullish on AI agents, you really have to be bullish on Banker. So if you're in crypto, I think Banker is a very interesting play. Well, not interesting. I think Banker is a very safe play, as blue chip as possible. If it doesn't work out, then the AI agent meta is done. But I think AI agent meta is just getting started. So yeah, I think that is something to keep an eye on. Let's see real quick. I've started creating a list, by the way. Let's see. Want to give you, so I'm starting to keep a list of the apps because I find these things so interesting. Like, I love the fact that people are creating apps and making just like bread. So let's see. I've created a list. Consumer apps. Jacob's on here. Let's see this guy. Adrian Martinez. I respect the hustle. All right. Strategy for those trying to create TikTok. I think one of the things I need to start figuring out too, and I'm in the trenches. I like to build things as well. Realize I'm a shitty builder compared to media. I'm a much better interviewer and show host, but I still like to dabble and build. So my question would be like, all right, if I have a consumer app, is the best play to go to TikTok or is the best place to create Instagram? So Adria was just like strategy promote app 3 platforms. TikTok video 800 views. Format change, the views drops, but the real surprise, same video on YouTube, 1,000 views in 2 hours. YouTube Shorts is massively underrated for app promotion. The plan, 2 videos a day for 1 week on TikTok. Same content, reposted YouTube Shorts, warming up new Instagram in parallel, 3 video platforms, 0 ad spend. So I think, and then this lady, Penelope Lopez, very interesting, got 1.3 million views on a new IG account in 2 weeks. We'll talk about that on next week's show. I think it was really, really good. I think it was a really good article. But it just kind of shows you that you have choices. You have choices on, where to, to push the project. So if you're building an app, I'd be very curious to know where you found the most success. DM me to let me know, because I guess it depends on the app and what you're trying to do. Because, if you're building a product for moms or you're building for a product for like an older crowd, I don't think TikTok's the way to go, because they're not on there. Maybe more in line with Facebook and Instagram, but there's YouTube, right? If you're a younger person or you're building something that's for a crowd, you should go on TikTok. I don't know. But it is a very interesting opportunity to kind of decide. And I think there's a huge opportunity for people to get really good at this and help businesses scale. I think the massive amount of opportunity there. So good to see. But without further ado, we do have Tim on. So let's bring him on in a second. We have 1,538 people live. Let's bring him on. Tim. Hold on a second. Tim, what is up? Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you doing?
What's up, brother? Great to see you. How you been?
You're on mute.
You sure?
Oh, I can't hear you.
Test.
Nope, can't hear you. You look good though, sir. Maybe hop back on. Let's come back in. I don't know.
No, I got it.
Yeah. All right. We'll get some technical difficulties. Tim upgraded his setup last time I saw him. He was just in some back office. Now he has cool lighting. Oh, Tim.
Yeah, we're good now. We're on the Bluetooth.
Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Good. How you been, man? Really good to see you.
Good to see you too, dude. Dude, things are good, man. Things are good. Just change, life, man. Life happens, and then you see opportunities, and you just go for it. And here we are. I am ready to push. I need a haircut because I'm so in the trenches and creating this business. I forgot to get a haircut, but talk to me about you, man. Just briefly introduce you, who you are, and I want to talk about charts because this show is all about AI, apps, tech, and on-chain, and giving value to those tuning in to know what's going on, even for the random average person. So, Tim, briefly explain who are you, my friend?
Amazing. Yeah. So my name is Tim Aslan. I've been trading since 2020, so about 6 years now. I mainly started with crypto, transitioned a bit into futures. So now I trade pretty much all markets. Um, I'm also in AI. I dabble in there a bit. So yeah, it's been a good run. I have a YouTube channel. I have a Twitter where I post my charts. Then I have a free Telegram where sometimes I post some trade signals and just keep everyone updated on the markets.
Love it. So, like I said, this show isn't just about crypto, and I like that you talk about different things, but it is about things. One of the segments is on chain and what's going on chain, and I think crypto is in a very precarious situation. We've had Trump, um, the ceasefire with Iran. I know the war is affecting a lot of the narratives. Markets look good. So why don't we just get straight to it, Tim? Why don't we pull out some charts? I can share it, and tell me what you're seeing right now, currently in the market.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me share my screen. All right, let me know if it's good.
Looks good, dude.
Okay, cool. So yeah, what are your viewers mostly interested in? Is it crypto? Is it stock market? Is
Let's
it
do
gold,
I
oil?
would say let's do crypto because still the majority is a crypto audience. And so yeah, let's start off with crypto.
Okay, great. Yeah, so
And I assume it's
here's
correlating
Bitcoin.
well with the stock market too, then, yes.
Yeah, well, yes,
Let's
for the
show
most
both.
part. Yeah,
Let's show
we'll
both.
we'll
Let's
get
start
into
with
it.
crypto and then we'll do because I'm curious to know about the stock market as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, so here's the high level, Bitcoin chart, weekly time frame. The first thing I want to draw attention to is where we bounced from. I think when we bounced from this area, and what I still see now is a lot of people are still waiting for lower prices, which we may get, but I don't want people to get overly bearish here because if I just draw one simple rectangle right here, it changes a lot of things, right? And I know I have a ton of noise. Oh my gosh, on my chart. Let's do this one. Perfect. So if I just draw one simple rectangle, you can see where we're bouncing from is that previous all-time high area back in 2021, right? We wicked a bit through it, but I mean, if we change this chart to a very simple, where is it at? A very simple line chart. I mean, look at this. Like we broke above this area, and now we're just coming back to retest this support area, and we're bouncing from it. So I don't understand why everyone gets so bearish at this, multi 5 year support level, which by the way, in this area, do you know how much volume was traded in this area? This is a huge support area and we're back above it again. So I think everyone's panicking, because of the war and we have so much bad news and price just nuked. But as it stands, we're holding above this area. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a significant bounce here, potentially to all-time highs.
Yeah. Do you think all-time highs?
I think all-time highs is very possible for me.
How and what time frame?
Well, it has to be proportional, right? So you can see we had a big move down. That was all the way from September down to February. So about 4 or 5 months, right? So at least 4 or 5 months of building structure to the upside. Also, typically after these big moves down, we see a period like this where there's some bigger consolidation. So I do think we can continue building a base before those bigger moves to the upside.
So
And
you
all-time
think
high isn't a guarantee, but at least the most commonly retraced to fib level is this 618 right here, which is at about 100K, which is a good psychological level. And then that's also a liquidity level right here, you can see. So I think at the minimum, we hit this level right here, 100K area. And, best case scenario, we can hit a new all-time high while people are sidelined and we're hoping for lower prices.
so right now, and this is a very clean chart, obviously resistance support. The low of this was around what 60K or so, which is probably where the wick is. So the support that you see, what level is that? Is that like the box 68, 69? What level is that?
The bottom of it is at 64 400.
So what is that? The all-time high of 2021 or something?
Yeah, so you can still see on this part of the chart, right, where my mouse is.
Yeah. So there was a first top in 2021, and then the second top was around 69 or something, right?
Yeah, so this entire level, right? I mean, this was the ultimate resistance back in 2021 that stayed that way for a long time, 4 years almost. So, you know, this is a strong area. And then in this zone right here, this was around when the ETFs were launched. So like IBIT was trading crazy amount of shares in this whole area, like so much volume in this
Yeah.
area here that if we go below it, it's pretty scary. But now that we're holding it, it's like, okay, so many buyers with billions and billions of dollars are in at this level, and we're holding above that, right? So to me, why get bearish at a support level like that? Maybe we can get bearish and look for some shorts around this 618 area, because that's a better risk to reward, and two, it would be after a 20% plus pump, maybe more than that, 30%. So then you can start to potentially get bearish, look for, maybe I see this chart on Twitter sometimes. I think that's very possible, something like that at the
Yeah.
worst case. But there's no need to be bearish in this zone when we're holding all of this. And that draws me to my next chart, which is the S&P. You can see a very similar thing happened here where this was the all-time high back in 2024, and you can see similar thing. We broke above it, and where was that strong reversal point? It was at that exact same previous all-time high. So I'm seeing a very similar scenario start to play out where SPX has led the move, right? Huge pump up from these lows, and here most likely going to make an all-time high. I think Bitcoin is lagging a bit, but I do see that same structure where went back up above it, coming down to that previous all-time high support, almost like building a staircase to get up.
Wow. So I mean, when you look at it like this, it does look very, very, very bullish. Obviously, a lot of people are calling for lows, and I think a lot of people are sidelined, which I do agree with you. Are you worried at all about the macro environments kind of changing the thesis on the brink of a dime? Because the best chart in the world, but like say nuclear war happens, I think your chart's gone. So as a trader, how much stock do you put into the macro events in your analysis?
I do put it in my analysis, but in the opposite way you would think. So my thesis is this. So let's say market is pumping, right? Let's say this is the chart, right? This area is the chart. Let's say this is an all-time high. What happens at this all-time high? Crazy good news. The best good news you could ever imagine. Tesla's going to buy Bitcoin. Amazing good news, right? What happens? Market nukes after that, right? So same thing in downtrending markets. At these lows, there's always bad news. 100% of the time at significant lows, there's crazy bad news. What was it down here? It was FTX crashing, right? What was it down here? I don't even know, but I'm sure there was some bad news, right? So there's always bad news in all markets. Remember this tariff? This was the tariff bottom, right? You can always find crazy negative news at the lows. And I think that is actually a confluence signal for me, right? Like when we were heading into this area on the SPX a few days ago, or when was that? A few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, that was almost the peak of the war, right? Like it was so uncertain. And so that's what you want to see when you drive into support. You don't want to have us going into support and everyone's bullish and having amazing news and oh my gosh, we're going to be great. That's how you get a dead cat bounce and you go lower. So for me, I think there's always going to be a bad news at the lows. We've seen that time and time again. And I personally think, thesis wise, I think a lot of the war talk is actually part of a bigger storyline where we are shifting into some sort of multipolar world order where certain factions have different powers in different regions. And I think a lot of that is power struggle, and I think a lot of it is bluffing. And I'm optimistic in general. I don't think we're going to have a World War III or nuclear war scenario. And at the end of the day, they're printing trillions and trillions of dollars, and all that capital is flowing into these assets.
Man, I mean, when you look at it this way, it's like, why have I been bearish, dude? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been one of the people who have like tried shorting it. I got screwed. Like I realized, like, what am I doing? This thing is. Had I seen this chart, I would have been like, let's hold up here. This actually could be a V-shaped reversal if you think about it.
Yeah, you know, there's definitely
At
bearish
least
thesis,
at
and
least to the
it makes
618
sense.
or
Yeah,
the golden pocket. Because I could see what I could see here is if there's going to be a move down, they probably need to take out liquidity from the upside to get the move down. I mean, that would cause max pain. Say it gets to like 100K and then just like the final flush out that would and goes to like 40. I think people would like be crushed. Would you agree?
yeah, yeah. I think that's the other thing too, which is so amazing. Always at the 618 fib, you see the narrative start to flip on Twitter. You know, the bulls come out of hibernation. Um, and yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how the technicals always line up with psychology, especially on X. Um, but what was interesting too is you can see the actual delta flows using tools like Coin Analyze or Exocharts. And what was
Yeah.
happening in this area down here, which by the way, check out where that area is,
Let's see.
618.
Ah,
Right
yes.
here in this area, you could see that shorts were piling in. It was insane. Like in this entire range, for example, um, you know, shorts would go uh, like in these lows, shorts would come out of nowhere. They'd be like, okay, we're going to make new lows. And then in
Yeah.
these highs, longs would come in. And then at these lows, actually, these lows right here had the most shorts of this entire range, the most.
Wow.
And then we just absolutely ripped, right? So it's always interesting to see the actual flows mixed with the technicals, mixed with the psychology, and it's just human nature. It's so interesting.
Very interesting indeed. Okay, so now let's just look quickly at the SP. Let's see. This is Bitcoin. Let's just see for the audience
Mhm.
the S&P, and then if we're seeing the same thing and we're tracking the same thing.
Yeah. So just to be clear, this chart is called ES. This is the S&P futures. So more volume is traded on this chart than the actual like SPX chart, which is this one.
Yeah.
Um, so I like to use this because technically I find it works better. Like for example, this support that held up, um, it just works really well. And what we're looking at now is we're heading towards the yearly open, which is at about 69,000 or 6,900. That's a big kind of support level and resistance level. You can see after this drop here, we retested it perfectly right there before lower. So the last kind of confirmation for me is we need to flip that area. And if we do, I think we'll hit a new all-time high. I think we're hovering near that 618, or we already might have passed it. Yeah, so you can see we hit that 618 golden pocket area, kind of went down, but then went right back up. So technically, this looks good. You can see on the structure too, we're just making, you know, just keep going up then down, never crossing that previous point
Yeah.
until now. This was the first time we actually broke that bearish structure and closed big candles above it. So for me, this qualifies as a change of character, where if you look at this also, this is our old range, right? And so we went below it, retested it, went below it again. Right here, you can see we tested it again, couldn't get back in, but then now we've fully confirmed back into the range. So it would not be crazy to think maybe we could get a little lower, retest it, and then go to all-time highs. But
Yeah,
for me, we did break structure and we're back in a bullish structure now.
well, definitely is not a shorting zone in my opinion. It's too much risk. I wouldn't even know where to begin, and it's pretty stressful risking, I guess. But anyways, Tim, we're gonna wrap things up. But anything you want? We have almost 4,000 viewers. Anything that you want
Yeah.
to say lastly for those tuning in, because your analysis is spot on.
Yeah. Last thing, guys, always be an optimist. There's always a reason to be bearish. Yes, price might go down, but always buy the dip, especially on strong assets like S&P, QQQ, Bitcoin, ETH. Be an optimist. Use, buy weekly. That's a big thing that I do. I DCA every single week, and I think that will work over the long term. So yeah, be an optimist. And if you want to see my charts, you can just follow me on X. It's at Tim Aslan.
Tim, always a pleasure. Good to connect. Let's make sure we touch base sooner than later, and we do more of these together. And like I said, I'm going to be on Monday through Thursday every 4 days a week, so we'll have plenty of opportunities to talk. If you're down, let's get you back on.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tim. That is Tim Aslan, trading expert. 4,001 people, 4,100 people tuning in. I think just judging by what he said, it's a good time to be in market. I'm still obviously optimistic. Actually, I'm cautious. I shouldn't say optimistic. I'm just cautious. I don't know what direction is going to be, but I wouldn't be shorting this. That's for sure. Because at the end of the day, anything could happen. One tweet, one bad world event happens, and then we're out. But can't really go on fear. So, anyways, that's it for today's show, guys. We learned about a water app making 105,000 a month and what the charts are saying about AI and crypto. So hopefully you learned a thing or two. We'll have a show tomorrow, but we'll be back on Monday. Next week, we got actually every single day is lined up with some amazing guests. So I look forward to having each and every one of them on. And again, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, Bill. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.